Hey, what's up, my friends? Max Uhas here, and I haven't done a video in a while, so I missed you guys, and I wanted to make one. And this is something that I was actually meaning to put together like last week, and then I got slammed with some work. I gotta I'm not even gonna get into it, but like a lot of pretty awesome opportunities have been opening up for me. So I'm gonna go into something that I think that everybody needs to hear because um, it's something that you're going to get hit up with a lot. Okay, because I recently had this guy, and it was unbelievably ridiculous, like the whole approach of it all. But the question is this: is like, should you ever work for free? Because you know somebody's going to hit you up for that, right? Hey man, you're my artist friend. You're good. And then my absolute favorite is you're going to get a ton of exposure from this. And there's a lot of artists out there that could use my help, and I'm offering it to you. And I promise you that you'll blow up. You'll get so much exposure, and you'll be famous, and you'll be this if you do all this free work for me. No such thing. Okay, let me explain something to you. And this is why you should never, ever, ever do free work. Okay, it's all right. So, and actually, there are some small exceptions. Like if it's your mom or your dad, and they're like, "Hey, can you do something to help me out? You know what I mean? Can you make a poster for the garage sale? Can you make a quick card for your grandmother? Do it. You know." But if it's your buddy's band, or if it's a friend of yours and they're trying to start a business, right? They need a logo and they need some other stuff, right? Ask for some money, okay? And let me tell you why. Because when somebody the actual the process of and of course, like I'm using both my hands, so you're not gonna get like a real handshake there. But the process of like a transaction, okay? When somebody's paying you for something, it means that they value your talent. They value your time. They value your effort. They value your skill set. They value you. And they take you serious as a professional. Okay? You don't see, I mean, like there aren't doctors. I mean there are, but like honestly, the majority of professionals get paid to do what they do. You know what I mean? Business consultants get paid to consult businesses. Teachers teach. Doctors do doctor stuff. Okay, professional athletes, you know, they get paid to play. Okay, the girl at the register, wherever you go, or the guy at the register, when you go to whether it's a fast food place or it's the grocery store or you're getting a cup of coffee. The baristas don't work for free. Why should you work for free? Okay, and this is the other thing too. It's like what you did. And all right, I'm just going to tell you this, right? Let's just say you've been creating art now for years. You know what I mean? You've been practicing. I don't know how old you are, right? But you've been practicing. You've been practicing every single day. Okay, let's say for the last 4 or 5 years. What do you think that's worth? Okay, that time, that energy, that effort, that skill set. Yeah, it may only take you 20 minutes to knock something out for somebody, but they didn't see the 4 or 5 years that you put into developing your skill. They didn't see the maybe 15, 20 years that you put into developing your skill, okay, and your talent. And the fact that you can put together something very quickly for somebody. They go, well, it only took you 20 minutes. It's like, no, it actually took me a very long time to master that skill set, to learn how to do that. It's kind of like, if you're learning a brand new program or whatever, you have a skill set that's well sought after that people will pay money for. And it's like, don't get caught up in thinking that you have that you have a skill set or something that has no value. Okay, being able to create art, I think, is probably one of the greatest skill sets to ever have, because you create. I mean, you can create stuff, you can make things happen, you can bring things to life, you can brand something. It's beautiful to be able to create. Okay, so why would you do that shit for free? Okay, you put the money in, you put the time in, you put the effort in, you bought the supplies, you slaved away, you sacrificed your time and your effort, and you missed some stuff, and you made. And I know, like, we all doodle. I know I doodled a lot during basically every class, in school, which I thought helped a lot. But then I'd go home and practice more. I'd read. I'd read comic books. I'd look at illustration books. I'd go through and I'd get inspired by looking at other people's stuff. Okay, so that being said, it's like, don't trade your work for nothing. Okay, get paid for what you do, because the transaction in and of itself, when somebody's willing to pay you, okay, when you're actually comfortable enough to say, hey man, I've been doing this for 4 years, I've been doing this for 5 years, I've been doing this for 10 years, I deserve to get paid. I don't care if you've been doing it for 6 months. There are people that go, you know what I mean? Like, you've got those night classes in those schools where it's like, you can graduate with a degree in 18 months. Okay, guess what? If you've been drawing or illustrating or cartooning or inking or doing digital animation or painting or whatever, you're good enough to ask to get paid. So do it. Okay? Don't do free work, because you devalue yourself. You devalue the marketplace. You devalue uh, all your skill sets, and you devalue yourself as a person when you say, oh, I'll do it for nothing. I'll trade 2, 3, 4, maybe 10, 15 hours of my life, or even if it's a half hour, for nothing. I'll just give it to you. What I found about stuff. What I've found is that when somebody's willing to buy something, right? When you're willing to spend money on something, you value it a lot more because you spent your own money on it, right? It's the same thing as saying, like, you ever get a free tattoo compared to a tattoo you paid for? I don't know. I know myself, right? It's like the car that you had to save up and buy, even if it was a piece of crap, you valued a lot more than the car that was just given to you because you're mommy and daddy's little girl. The stuff that you pay for, you value more because you put the time and effort and energy into earning that money. And then when you transact that, when you trade that money to somebody for something, right? That's your purchase. That's your value. You know what I mean? You value that. But when something's just given to you, you don't value it. And it's the same thing. It's like, if you just give your art away, you're not valuing yourself, and the people that you're giving it to, I guarantee you, don't value it as much as somebody that would pay for it, and especially if they would pay for it. Okay, that's I'm gonna keep this one pretty short. Get paid. Okay, get comfortable getting paid. Get comfortable asking for money. Okay, the one thing that and this is the whole thing with money, right? Because you invest in yourself, you spend the time to learn all this stuff. You deserve to get paid for it. Because you know what? At the end of the day, the end of the life, at the end of everything, the one thing you can never get back is time. You can get back money. You can spend money, and money will come back into your life. Okay? You can give love and receive love. You won't give time, and it's just like, well, I spent 5 hours working on that. We'll just tack that 5 hours back onto the end of your life, so you're good to go. No, you never get that time back. So it's like the time that you spend doing something, right? The time that you invest into a project or whatever, you should get paid for it. Okay? If you were working at a job, you worked in a retail store and you stood there and you had your name tag on, and you said, "Hey sir, how can I help you?" "What's up, ma'am? Can I help you with something? Can I help you find a size?" You get paid for that. Now, you don't get paid much for that because there's not a lot of skill involved in that. Okay? But I can tell you this, it's like when you create something, there's skill involved in that. So treat yourself like a highly skilled professional and ask for the money. And when somebody tells you or asks you to do free work for them, politely or, aggressively, say no, because you value yourself. I just turned a guy down on work. And this guy, he was persistent as all hell. You know, it's funny. He's like, I'll do this. I promise you, whatever. And I'm like, listen, man, I don't feed my children on promises or guarantees, and I don't pay my rent with promises or guarantees. And the bank, I can't deposit promises or guarantees into the bank. So I appreciate the offer. Good luck with whatever you're doing. And what's funny is the guy came back to me and said, well, how much do you want? How much how much do you want for the project? And it's funny, but because I turned it down, all of a sudden now, well, how much do you want? I want $2,000. I don't know if I could do 2,000. Well, I don't know if I want to work with you, bud. And it's still a negotiating thing, and who knows if this guy's even serious. But I'd rather turn down free work than take free work, because once you start something, if you're like me, you know what I mean, like you want to finish it. And my thing is this: if you pay for something, you should have a product, right? If you buy something, you should get it. If you give me money for something, you should get what you paid for. Okay. So with that being said, don't do free work. Subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.